my friends, and welcome to another episode of...
Gotcha! Yes, hello there, dear friends, and I presume now loads and loads of enemies. My name is Adam Clery, filling in for the one and only Simon Miller on this week's episode of Ups and Downs. The man is on holiday, and I have Googled that word, and apparently it means taking a break from work, so I might have to even try that myself sometime. And it's been a good old long while since I filled in for Miller on one of these things, and in the time that has passed, Raw and indeed most of WWE's output is now officially good, so this should be interesting. Most of the matches are very exciting these days. Storylines make sense and make you want to tune in rather than take the remote, balance it perfectly on the end of the table and smash your own face into it, so this should be a lot of fun. But I'll not beat around the bush too much because I've got my own job to do today as well. So without further ado, my name is Adam Clery, and these are all the ups and downs for last night's episode of Monday Night Raw.
Adam is the best person, is like a superhero.
We start with a quick intro package reminding us of precisely what Randy Orton did to Edge's skull, and that is honestly one of the best packages I've seen the main roster produce in years. They made last week's episode feel like the last 5 minutes of flippin' Infinity War up. And we kick off the show proper with Randy Orton coming out to discuss last week's events, last week's attempt for him to kill Edge with the steel chair, which, I mean, they had to do, really, didn't it? It has been the biggest talking point in probably all of professional wrestling for the last 7 days, and they needed to capitalize on that straight away. And do you know what it is? Stuff like this is why Randy Orton annoys people. Every time he phones in a boring match or he's in some feud that nobody could care about, the reason it winds us up is because he is capable of stuff like this. This was honestly one of the best promos that has opened an episode of Monday Night Raw, again, in absolutely years. He says fewer than 20 words, only one complete sentence, and yet Edge versus Orton still feels like the hottest thing in WWE. It was so perfectly done. It is also an up. And as well, I just want to say, this isn't something WWE are historically particularly good at, but what they've done is they've read the room perfectly. Everyone was shocked and horrified by what happened last week, and they've steered their own broadcasting into that tone. Like, this felt shocking and horrifying, and even commentary were like, gee, God, this is absolutely awful. It's like no time has passed since last week's episode went off the air and this week started, and that is what you tune in for. Anyway, now it's time for some actual wrestling, and what will it be? Another televisual banger of a match? Will it be the continuation of one of the show's many enthralling feuds? We're still doing this. We're still doing this. Lana versus, well, Lana, according to the giant skateboarding ramp, in a match that was only really interesting because it got a big Rusev Day chant, which means, in my tiny little hopeful black heart, that there is still a chance Rusev can be redeemed in all of this. It can still happen. We want it to happen. Anyway, Liv Morgan hits that move that Liv Morgan hits, and the whole thing is over before you can even finish rolling your eyes at it. Except, no, it's not, because this is actually just setting up a return for Ruby Riott. Now, straight up, this is a long awaited return. A desperately needed return, you might say, from double shoulder surgery. We have really felt the absence of just fresh blood and new faces, or just anything that feels exciting in the Raw Women's division for a long time, and this is great! Ruby Riott can come back, and she can be the new face that can challenge all these heels that aren't really working. She can take that positivity from the crowd that they want to give out and give us some, she's a heel as well. She's a heel as well, okay? Right, look, Riott's return is an up. It's great to see her back. She's a terrific performer. I'm sure they will do something good with her at some point, so that is an up, but right, okay, so just let's get this all down, okay? Liv Morgan's out for ages. She premieres a new character, which is going to be really different, and then she just sort of comes back, and all she's done is start wearing a bit of leather, and she puts herself in the Lana, Rusev, Lashley feud for no real reason. Then we get sort of 2 matches against her and Lana that don't really feel like they've solved anything, and it's not really working. Nobody's getting over in the process, and now Ruby Riott's come back, and she's inserted herself into this rivalry for no real discernible reason. Right, it was a mess. It was a mess before she came back, and it's an even bigger mess now, and it's a down. Up next, a jobber entrance for Mojo Rawley, a man who won a televised match last week, a reigning WWE champion, and a jobber entrance for him. Doesn't even get his music. The disrespect. Turns out he's facing Drew McIntyre, and I know what some of you are going to say, that presenting Drew McIntyre as big, sexy Scotsman is somehow bad. You don't like it, do you? You want him to be this badass, this scary figure, someone who can conquer the beast, Brock Lesnar, who should be doing all his talking with his fists and the underside of his feet. And to that I say, absolutely not. No, shut up. Big banter Drew McIntyre can shag his way to WrestleMania. For all I care, he can do whatever he wants. Anyway, yes, 1, 2, 3, Claymore, 1, 2, 3. And that's all she wrote for Mojo Rawley on this week's episode of television. I hope they've got something more exciting planned for Drew McIntyre to fill the time between here and Mania, but if they don't, wouldn't be mad. Up. Backstage now, and Seth Rollins can't wait to get into this evening's triple threat match to earn himself a championship opportunity at Super Showdown, he said. That's wrong. More wrestling for you now, and an elimination tag team match between Kevin Owens, the Viking Raiders, and, as they were introduced, accompanied to the ring by tag team champion, the Monday Night Messiah, Seth Rollins, half of the Raw tag team champions, Buddy Murphy, and the Authors of Pain. Bit of a mouthful this, but a good lesson in the fact that not all things that are predictable are necessarily bad. Buddy Murphy and the Authors of Pain managing to eliminate both the Viking Raiders are predictable. Kevin Owens then having to valiantly battle back from 3-1 down to even the score. Predictable, but then just coming up short, and the heels taking the victory. Predictable, this match and the entire segment. Actually good, though. Like, it doesn't matter if you can see it coming a mile away. The crowd really enjoyed this, and it's making Owens look like a goddamn miracle worker in the space of 2 consecutive losses. I really like what they're doing with it, and I want to see where it goes, and I'm going to give it an up. Also, can we please just do Viking Raiders versus Authors of Pain, and do it soon? Yeah, I want it at WrestleMania. We all want it at WrestleMania, but I also want it soon. Ricochet now, and just going to read this out to you. A chance to compete for the WWE title? Hell, since I was a 14-year-old kid, I just wanted to prove that I could be one of the best, and tonight is my chance to prove that. I know that it might seem unrealistic for someone like me to earn a WWE title match because of the obstacles that are put in front of me, so tonight, as slim as it may be, it's my chance to prove that determination can outweigh probability. Ricochet, mate. Hello there, everybody. My name is Adam Clery. Welcome to my very first installment of Nobody Talks Like That. Now, Rick, buddy, gotta tell you, what you've done here is you've crammed every single inspirational monologue from bad 80s American teen dramas into a blender, whirred it all the way around, then poured it into the eye and ear holes of every single person watching at home. It's also not unrealistic for people to expect a wrestler to win a wrestling match, and you've said the word prove 3 times in about 15 seconds. Rick, buddy, I hate to tell you this, but nobody talks like that. Aleister Black versus Eric Young now, and you all remember Eric Young, don't you, from TNA and from NXT? Well, he's back on television and he's got himself a bit of a showcase match, and hopefully this can be an opportunity for him to show the crowds what they've been missing, to really get his teeth back into the Monday night. Oh, he's lost. He's lost. Okay. Yeah, this was literally as open and shut as that. It came out, a lot of offense, tried to hit him a bit, then he popped his nose, and then Black just kind of picked him up. Black mask down, and that's it. Then Black himself gets on the mic, and wouldn't you just know it, he's sick of waiting for people to pick a fight with him, and now he's going to pick a fight with everybody else, and we're done. We're done with this now. We're done with Aleister Black doing squash matches, and we're done with him cutting weird scripted promos about how much he wants to fight people. Just put him in a flipping feud. No. Also, if you're going to put Eric Young on TV, man, don't do him as dirty as that. I will say as well, now that he's shaved the beard, which I completely forgot he'd done, they could have just given him another name and nobody would have known it was Eric Young. Anyway, yes, what was I saying? Down. Humberto Carrillo's out next, and so is Zelina Vega and Angel Gaza. She is mad as hell. She's not going to take it anymore. And there are 3 things that Humberto needs to realise. 1, this is in actual fact his cousin. 2, he's a former NXT champion, sort of. And 3, he's really, really good. He attacks Carrillo, tries to bust his head like a watermelon on the concrete, just as he did to Andrade last week. But he's stopped by Rey Mysterio, and we have ourselves a standoff of some description, but I can't quite think of the word for it. We actually get a surprisingly really good match, given this is a combination we've never seen before. Gaza's very much one of the new faces coming through NXT. Mysterio's the old, experienced hand, and given the history between the two of them, apparently the fathers used to work with each other and it's all quite complicated, it was really good. Like, Gaza looked much better in this match than he would have done if he was just facing Carrillo, and going to a DQ finish with Vega stopping Mysterio, winning, and then Gaza hitting Mysterio on the concrete himself. Right, let me just talk to you about this. They're building this like crazy shared universe of wrestlers with like a Mexican background or Mexican heritage. We've got Mysterio, Carrillo, Gaza, and Andrade's gonna come back eventually. They're all trying to explode each other's heads on hard concrete floors, and they're all really good in the ring. And is anybody else just looking at this thinking, United States Championship Fatal 4-Way at WrestleMania? Because I am, and I've got a bit of a lob on. Basically, right, every single match Gaza has ever been in NXT has been really good. Carrillo's not really grabbed anybody, but he's certainly not under-delivered. Andrade's one of the best workers in the entire company, and Rey Mysterio is Rey Mysterio. So this is the direction they're going down, then easy, Ariba. Charlotte comes out now, and I will skip to the very important bottom line here. We are getting Flair versus Ripley for the NXT Women's Championship at WrestleMania, I think, because they've not confirmed if they're doing that yet or when they're going to do it, but that's what they're doing, isn't it? You know what it is? They've done this wrong. Like, they've done this wrong. They just had to hang on like another week and a half. Then you could have had Charlotte appear at TakeOver Portland after Ripley had defended the title, meaning she was probably going to go into WrestleMania weekend as the champion, and challenge her then, not when she's got like at least 2 defenses between now and then. But that being said, we shouldn't have spunked the load on it as soon, but we got 2 really good promos out of it, and it is absolutely the correct match, so I'm going to give it an up anyway. Here, I could do a whole video on this. I absolutely love the direction they're going to go with in this, because it's like Charlotte is ducking Becky, like she's not sure she can be, oh, be her before. Yeah, so what? You are ducking her. You are afraid of her. You're not interested in the SmackDown Women's Championship, but here you go. All that history in NXT. It's just... mwah. Bobby Lashley backstage now talking about the upcoming main event, and I'm going to do you all a favour and not actually go into too much detail about it. It's just like, something, something, I'm Bobby Lashley. Something, something, Lana. Something, something, championship opportunity. Something, something, my cock is the size of a hairspray can with a cap still on the end of it. Something, something, Brock Lesnar. Natalya versus Asuka now, as the former surely is looking forward to moving on from a feud against the man to go into her own WrestleMania program, while Becky Lynch herself goes in to something else as well. And she's sorry, it's behind me, is it? Oh, we're still doing this as well, okay. Actually, wait, no, before I get into all of that, the match itself was actually really good and really even. They let Natalya hang with Asuka for about, I didn't time it, but I want to say about 10 minutes on television, and she kept getting her in the sharpshooter and she kept having to escape, and in the end, she had to use a distraction to beat her. Can you imagine me saying that a year and a half ago? And I mean, I say a distraction, it was literally just Kyrie Sane popping up, doing a weird tiger face, and I don't really know if that works as a distraction, because I'm not sure. Anyway, the match itself was a definite up, I think. And I know a lot of people on social media are like, oh, God, all of this again. But Becky came out, she cut the promo, it was kind of exciting. I can't give it a down because, well, it might all still be good. I'm gonna reserve judgment on this one, because while the match absolutely does not need to happen, there's not really a whole lot else for either woman to do until either Shayna or Ronda decide to show up somewhere. You see, superpowers, so we'll just have to wait and see what happens and hope we get another banger in the process. Main event time now, and an absolute firecracker of a match to close Monday Night Raw. Bobby Lashley, he's big and he's strong. Ricochet, he's quick and he's also quite quick, and Seth Rollins, he has lots and lots of friends. That was pretty much the dynamic of the entire match. Bobby Lashley, he's big and he's strong, was being big and being strong. Ricochet, he's quick and he's quick. He was being really quick. And Seth Rollins, he has lots of friends. All his friends kept getting involved. Anyway, as you might expect, Kevin Owens and the Viking Raiders, they were still upset about losing earlier in the night. They came and they chased away all of Seth Rollins' friends, and that pretty much took him out of the match in the process. And then, do you know what it is? This kind of caught me by surprise. Like, Ricochet gets on the top rope, he hits the 631 splash, and I was sat there going, who's breaking this pin up then? and he won. Like, they actually have given Ricochet the Brock Lesnar match for Super Showdown. I'm really happy for that. Then the match itself was, yeah, that's definitely an up. It was a really good way to close out the show. It felt like it mattered. It felt important. Even when the championship wasn't directly in the match, it related strongly to it. It felt like a good way to go off the air. If you've got time, you've got the 5 minutes, you've got 10 minutes, however long it was, I would encourage you to watch that match, if only because at the end, who is it? It's big bloody Brock Lesnar. I'm absolutely dying to know, by the way, what Brock Lesnar's appearance fee is for all this, to come out, F5 somebody and leave, because I would imagine the money he's paid versus the minutes he actually works would make your eyes bleed blood and piss. And let's call a spade here. Ricochet was absolutely the right man to win this match. Brock Lesnar has an incredible track record of getting really good performances out of smaller, more athletic counterparts. Bryan, great match. Styles, great match. Balor, great match. Hopefully Ricochet can add to that lineage, and I'm going to give that decision in of itself, the anticipation of the match, another up. Feeling generous. Oh, and of course, before we go, he does the thing. I don't do this on NXT, but he does this one, and it goes round, it goes round, it goes round, it goes round. Of course, it was a really good show, because Raw's just really good now. So yes, there you go, everybody. That was Monday Night Raw, and I'm really sorry. I know Simon Miller wasn't here. I know you love him so much, but so do I, and some of us have to fill in for him when he gets a well-deserved break from the content. Hey, here's an idea. When he tunes in later, how about you show him loads of positivity in the comments? You haven't got to say I was great, but I also wouldn't be against it. But as ever, far more interested to know what you all make of it, so shout it out in the comments below. And while you're at it, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You can catch me on Twitter, Adam Clery, C-L-E-R-Y, if you would be so obliged. But in the meantime, my friends, thank you so much for watching. I don't know what we're going to do about the Wednesday Night War yet. I don't know if I can present to you in one day, but we'll see. And I'll see you soon. Goodbye.